Hi, Samia. How are you?
Good, you?
Good. So we're doing the first annual Justice Awards tribute. When did it start? Where did this come about? And how did you guys come up with this whole idea?
We wanted to bring something together where we can bring the African American community and the Arab American community together in one event. Basically build the bridge between the both minority groups in the area.
So I see that you have a couple honorees tonight at the event. Who are you guys honoring tonight? And what made that decision?
U.S. Attorney Barb McQuaid and Judge Victoria Roberts. They're both working for both groups. They're strong. They make the hard decisions, the difficult decisions, and they do work all for civil rights.
Thank you so much. I hope this turns out to be a wonderful event, and not just your first annual, but more than your first annual. Thanks. So, with today's narrative and the things that are going on, this morning I got up and I seen Time Magazine cover 1968/2015, and that was really poignant to me. And you, who is an icon in the world, in the League of Civil Rights and the NAACP and all the work that you've done, you know, that Time Magazine sort of took me back and it made me sad. And with this tonight here, partnering up together with the ACRL, what's your insight on this event tonight and your insight in general, and hoping that we make a difference?
Well, I think it's people and organizations like this that are going to lower the temperature of the debates. You see, this is a cultural problem that's been with us for a long time.
Yes.
And in some ways, the media is doing us a favor because now anything that happens, they report it. It used to be somebody would get shot, a kid or police misconduct, and who cares? But now everybody cares. And so this organization is very important in us making leaders understand that we're working very hard to have a little bit more police accountability. And we want them to be sensitive to this without attacking them.
The NAACP has been around a long time, and civil rights and justice is obviously on all levels, from education to economics to different societies, from Arab Americans to Indian Americans to Hispanics, to, you know, and it just really seems like social media is probably a positive thing for us nowadays because it's exposing more and more. Does that make your job and people like the Civil Rights League and all that, does that make it easier for them nowadays?
Well, you see, what we have to do is accomplish cultural changes so that we all understand that we're in this together. Most police officers I got a lot of friends.
Well, they say you're never born hating. No. You know, you're not born hating, and you're right. You have to change the culture. And
that's harder than winning a debate.
Yes.
Or taking different sides, and that's what we're trying to do. I've had meetings. We're planning on hearings in the House Judiciary Committee. Our chairman, Bob Goodlatte, has agreed, and so we're trying to get in thoughtful people, police chiefs that know what it is that gets people upset. And for a lot of people in the inner cities, they don't have anything but anger and rage to produce. And so that's their only outlet. And so we're trying to make sure that we understand that, and that they understand that disturbing the peace is not a good way to resolve the problem.
Well, let's just say between tonight, we wish the NAACP and the ACRL continued success on this first Justice Annual Award, and all the principals constantly coming to the table to make positive conversation. And I know that with you at the helm and up at the hill up there, we got you to keep fighting for it. So we want to thank you so much for that.
Well, I remember President Lyndon Baines Johnson called me when we were having a big disturbance in the late 60s in Detroit to just have me tell him what it is, and because we had state police, Detroit police, and there was all kind of law enforcement going on. And so I've been working on this, and I can see it without getting angry or accusing people.
What's the old adage? You get more bees with honey. So enjoy the night, and I hope we see continued success with this night more and more. So you enjoy.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Keep fighting on that hill and fight for education. Hi, Barbara. How are you today? I wanted to say, first annual Justice Award. The NAACP and the ACRL got together to really partner up, to make a strong statement about civil rights. And with today's narrative in this country, I think that's something that we really need to focus on a little bit more. What's so amazing about tonight, and for me personally, I have such great respect for you and your work. You're one of the awardees tonight, and what an honor it is to have you being recognized for your hard work. And I always tell everybody you're the most fairest and most honest, hardworking person I know. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what your work is all about and based on civil rights.
Well, it is I who am honored with this award. To get recognized from these two great organizations is really a deep honor. But at the U.S. Attorney's Office, one of the things I'm most proud of is creating the first ever civil rights unit at the office so that we can focus on things like enforcing hate crimes, fair housing laws, discrimination laws, and things that make sure that all Americans get the protection of all the laws.
I really have to say, as a person that I work at the high schools and my daughter works at the schools, and there's injustice on many levels, whether it's economic, whether it's education, and to know that there's people like you behind the scenes, it makes you feel comfortable, because you really are a dedicated, hardworking person. And I have to say, an award that is so well deserved. It really is.
Well, thank you. I'm very humbled and honored to receive it. As you know, it takes a lot of people to work to make equality a reality, and I'm just honored to receive it on behalf of all those people.
Deserved. Enjoy the night. You deserve it, and we'll see you in there when we get in. Thanks, Mark. Hi, Judge. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
So the first annual Justice Award, this has just been such an honor to find out that you're one of the awardees tonight. Any comment? Obviously well-deserved. You are, from what I hear from one of your colleagues, you've had a lot to do with a lot of things that are positive in this city. What are some of the things that you want to see happening with civil rights?
Well, I have been in the legal profession for 40 years. Where should I be looking? I've been in the legal profession for 40 years, the last 18, almost 18, as a federal judge. And before that, I had practice, and much of it steeped in civil rights. I did a lot of housing discrimination cases, a number of employment discrimination cases, and now as a judge, those kinds of cases are on my bench, or on my docket as well. And so I've had a lengthy involvement, a lengthy history with these types of cases, and it's just unfortunate that we are still dealing with these issues so many decades, and some might even say, just so many years afterwards, even till today.
Today's narrative. In 2015,
yes.
I seen the Times magazine, and it said 1968 and slashed out 2015.
Right.
And it really is sad to see that we're still fighting such a cause that has no business fighting it. It should have been
absolutely, absolutely. So we need organizations
yes.
like these two just to continue the fight, to continue bringing attention to these issues, because it's clear there is a lot of energy that is required to make sure that there's equality and justice in this country.
And on so many levels, whether it's economic, whether it's education. I personally, my daughter works in one of the Detroit schools, and education is very important to me. And there's such an injustice on the education, and what's happening in Detroit is such an atrocity to our kids. And to know that the NAACP and the ACRL are partnering up together with such a wonderful event tonight.
Yes.
I hope we push hard.
I hope so too, and I hope to continue to be involved.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Let's just say congratulations.
Thank you.
Deserve it.
Thank you very, very much.
Hi, Nabil. How are you? So, the first annual Justice Award, you're behind all this wonderful event. Where did it come from, and how did you start it?
Well, we figure we have the largest concentration of Arab Americans outside the Middle East in this region. We have the largest NAACP office in the country outside the region, but we really don't talk to each other. We thought this is a great opportunity to bring both communities together. And the NAACP Detroit chapter, as well as the Arab American Civil Rights League, the ACRL, joining forces on recognizing those individuals in the justice field as well as the legal field for standing up and doing the right thing and being courageous in the community. We really truly appreciate these individuals of all the hard work that they stood together. It's an honor to receive an award not only by the Arab American community but as well as the African American community jointly together. Both organizations approved this by their board. This is an official event, and we're very honored. I think it's one of the first of its kind in the country, so we're very proud to be part of this special event tonight.
I have to personally tell you, thank you for doing a wonderful job on this. From a person that grew up in Southwest Detroit, I have a daughter that's teaching in a Detroit school. There's injustices on many levels, whether it's economic, whether it's educational. So I just want to tell you, I wish you the very best, and I hope we have 100 million more of these awards, and we continue to partner up with the NAACP and the Arab Civil Rights League. You guys do an awesome job. So anything else you want to tell us about tonight other than the two awardees that you have?
Well, thank you so much. Again, any injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, as Martin Luther King used to say. And we working together with this community is truly an honor, and we'll continue the fight forward on both fronts.
We're going to partner up and make changes all the time. So thank you for coming out, and this wonderful event that you are behind. You're a great guy, so keep up the great work. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Mr. Chuck Stokes, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
The first annual Justice Award dinner, partnering up with the NAACP and the ACRL. Me personally, I'm a person that grew up in the great state of Detroit and Michigan and always been around civil rights.
Sure.
What is this to you? What is this?
I think this is important, and it shows the power of partnerships. Nabir and Reverend Anthony have had a great relationship, and it's both professional and personal. And they've become, I think, tremendous friends, but they also share the same common values, fighting for people, making sure that we protect our constitutional rights, because we all know that if you get careless, if you take your eye off the ball, then sometimes things happen that we don't like to happen. And so it's nice to see this organization, and it's nice to see that it's evolving into what I would consider a power organization in Southeast Michigan, and one that people, I think, respect greatly. And I'm glad that they're holding it here at the UAW Ford.
That was really a nice idea, actually.
It is. It's a beautiful facility, and it still goes to the heart and soul of what made this town what it is, and that's labor.
Exactly. Today I seen the Times cover. It said 1968 and 2015 with 68 scratched out. That was very poignant.
Yeah.
And in today's world, we're still fighting civil rights. And it's really sad. But with today's social media, do you feel that sort of helps us fight it and combat it a lot easier?
I think so. I think because it gives us more voices, more people who offer opinion, more protection of our First Amendment rights, which is so important and near and dear to this country and to our Constitution. And I think that's going to help fight what we see going on all across America, and that's some backsliding in some areas of civil rights and constitutional protection. But I think we always have to keep in mind how much progress we've made. And while there's still some battles to be fought, there's still some challenges out there, we've come a long way too. And we don't want to rest on our laurels, but we also want to be thankful that we aren't where we were 50 years ago.
Absolutely.
In a big respect. But there's some backsliding that I think we're all concerned about. But social media, look how it's helped in terms of our mobile phones.
Absolutely.
What we've been able to do, the average person can capture on camera. Some of these cases are getting solved because average citizens have been able to catch things, and then they send it into the criminal justice system. And the justice system, it can be slow sometimes,
Yes.
but it is still the best system, I think, in the world, and it works.
It works. It works. And let's just say that this is the first. Let's hope there's many more to come afterwards.
Oh, I'm sure
and
there
all the
will be.
principals, absolutely, and all the principals involved get together and constantly make a difference for the positive. So
They will. I don't have any doubt about
absolutely,
that whatsoever.
it's a great place to be.
It is a great place. It is a great town, and it's a great state.
And I am not going to get away by saying he's one of the best guys on Channel 7, but Channel 7 is a great place to be too.
Well,
so
thank you. I'm very
thank you for
fortunate
all
to
your
be
hard
there
work.
all the years I've been there.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Great
sir.
with Spotlight on the News and all your hard work that you bring in. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I'm Chuck Stokes, the Editorial and Public Affairs Director at WXYZ TV Channel 7 and Channel 20 now. And so it's so nice to be able to have all of you here on this Friday evening in this wonderful building, which represents so much about the history and the foundation and what built this great city and this great state, and that's labor in the UAW Ford building. And so thank you so much for coming in. And it's so nice to be able to MC the first annual Justice Awards tribute. Nabir has called me a few times over the last couple of years to do some different things that he was involved in, and I always felt so bad because every time he called, I was usually on my way to somebody's graduation in my family, or going out of town for a convention or something, and I was starting to get a little paranoid that he was going to start thinking, I just don't want to do something for you, and nothing could be further from the truth. And so when he called this year, luckily my youngest daughter graduated last year from grad school, so it was the last kid that we had to pay for in higher education. And so we're empty nesters now. And so I have a little bit more free time, and I was so thankful when he called, and I looked at the calendar and I said, I'll be there. I don't have any graduations to go to. So it's so nice, and I want to thank him so much for asking me to be involved with this evening. Anyway, without any further ado, we are going to have blessings of our special occasion today, and I'm going to call them up one at a time, and we will begin with Iman Hussan El-Hussani. Would you please come forward?
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. It's an honor to be here with you, and we thank you all, and thank you for this invitation and the beautiful people here. Evenness and equality, fairness, justice, human rights, freedom are the fertilized soil of this earth that God requested before He planted the seed of faith. As it shows here, I'm going to recite to you a few words of the Holy Book of God. and we'll make the prayer. In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate, ye are the best community that hath been raised up for mankind. Ye enjoin right conduct and forbid indecency, and ye believe in God. Let's pray. We ask you, God, to bless us and bless this community and enlighten our heart, purify our spirit, straighten our path, gift us wisdom, share us our vision, bless us with justice, and justify our judgment. Amen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Haman. And now, for additional blessings, Reverend Darren K. Pinson, pastor of Greater Quinn AME Church.
Good evening. May we all bow our heads in a word of prayer. Oh God, we thank you, God, that we come today, God, to acknowledge of the partnership of the NAACP, but we also thank you, God, to the acknowledgement of one of the three branches of government that we come to celebrate today, which is the judicial branch. So we thank you for these awardees, God, and we thank you, God, that we recognize that this is a united issue. So we come before you and we say thank you again. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. And we say thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor. And now we will have greetings from three individuals. The first will come from Samia Hamid, and she is the field director for the Arab American Civil Rights League.
I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out and being with us tonight. We're very delighted to have you, and thank you for everything that you do, especially those in the justice system. It's not an easy job. You're making hard decisions, and it's usually not positive for some people. So we understand your job is very hard. I've been through courts a couple times, usually for minor infractions, leaving the courtroom, hating the judge, until I went through something more serious, which now I have so much more admiration and appreciation for everything that you do. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. You know, this is such an important occasion in my business. We get to report on all the things that are going on. And someone asked me the other day, and they said, how are you guys doing? And I said, we are having a dickens of a time trying to keep up with all the news that is going on right here in the city of Detroit, in the state of Michigan, and across the country. And I was in the bathroom the other day, and I was listening to the radio, getting dressed, and the broadcaster was just naming all the different things that were going on from Baltimore to Seattle. I walked out and I looked at my wife. I said, you know, I'm not sure I want to go to work today. There's so much going on. So it is a very, very busy time, and I don't think there's ever a time when civil rights has come to the forefront in the news business as much as it is now. And now Donnell White, my good fraternity brother and the executive director of the Detroit branch, NAACP.
Thank you, Brother Chuck. Let me say good evening to everyone.
Good evening.
Certainly to the conveners of this occasion. Brother Nabi Ayad, thank you for your vision and your leadership in pulling together this evening, and certainly Samia Hamid. The NAACP certainly stands shoulder to shoulder with the ACRL in our quest for civil rights and social justice advocacy for all people, regardless of station in life, regardless of culture, regardless of religion, regardless of race. It is the American dream that we all are in a quest for. And so, Nabi, we thank you for your leadership. On behalf of the NAACP and our president, Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony, who wears many hats, and he'll certainly bring greetings this evening, we stand with you, with this community, shoulder to shoulder, knowing that what is before us is a great task. And united, we will stand, and divided, we most certainly will fall. And so we are committed to work with you as a community and most certainly as an organization. To both of our awardees this evening, thank you, Barb McQuaid. Thank you, Judge Victoria Roberts, for being a friend, not only of the NAACP or of this community, but me as an individual. And I'm certainly everyone here would have a testimony to that very same occasion. There's something to be said about a community where you can pick up the phone and reach out to your law enforcement officials, where you can pick up the phone and reach out to your U.S. attorney, where you can pick up the phone and reach out to a judge when it matters. That is what we're working towards here in the city of Detroit. We ought not gloss over this moment. We ought not gloss over, if you forgot, we planning a little chicken dinner on Sunday, so my phone is non-stop here. I'm just gonna turn it out, just us and another several thousand people. But we ought not gloss over these magic moments. We ought not gloss over the relationships we've been able to forge as a community. There are communities across this country and across this world that are striving to be where we are here. And given that we have challenges, we have much more successes to be proud of. And so I'm excited to stand before you as the director of the NAACP, particularly at a time such as this, as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of those who marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma for the quest of voting rights, which is at the cornerstone of this democracy that we love in America. So we have so much to do, and while they marched on Bloody Sunday, they turned around on what was called Turnaround Tuesday. And we have to continue to encourage our communities that we have to turn around on Tuesday and do what matters most, and that's have our voice heard at the ballot box. So we'll see you on the polls. We'd love to see you at the dinner on Sunday. But more importantly, and equally importantly, we'll see you at the polls on Tuesday for this election and every election going forward. Thank you, Chuck.
Indeed, a busy weekend. That little chicken dinner he refers to, the largest single sit-down dinner in the world. So try planning that and see if you don't get a headache or two in the process. They've done a wonderful job throughout the years, and that tradition continues. You know that you got quite a thing up under you when the Vice President of the United States decides that on Sunday, that's where he wants to have dinner. So we look forward to all of the activities on Sunday and the partnership between this organization and the Detroit NAACP, and the fact that they're having all of this bundled up into one weekend, Freedom Weekend, says a lot about the partnership in this very diverse community that we live in. And now, Monica Anthony, she is the executive director of the Freedom Institute, has done a wonderful job putting this all together, and First Lady of the Detroit branch NAACP as well. Would you please come forward?
Thank you, Chuck. Good evening to all of you. I just want to be very brief and say welcome to this event, the first annual Justice Awards Tribute. I am too pleased to be working in partnership with the NAACP Detroit branch and the ACRL. We're not just partners, but basically family. One of the things you can see on the back of your program is our schedule of events. The Freedom Institute has been hosting Freedom Weekend for more than a decade now, and we partnership over the years with so many organizations, and because this is family, it's a special partnership and coming together. So to Nabi Ayad, the founder of the ACRL, to Reverend Anthony, to Donnell, it's been so wonderful working together and putting this together. I know it's going to be great. To the honorees, you are so fitting and deserving, U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuaid and Judge Victoria Roberts. And so I just wanted to say welcome, enjoy yourselves, take the time to look on the back. We have one more day of activities, and you or someone else is welcome to attend, particularly the young people in the morning. It's going to be a very apropos event dealing with stops and cops at the Youth Symposium. in light of everything that's been going on around the country. If you know some young people around high school age, they're welcome to attend. And then that afternoon following that event is our Dr. Ron Walters National Town Hall meeting addressing the very critical issue of education here in the city and the state of Michigan. And so they're both right on time and very critical. We hope you come back and attend and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. And now special remarks from two individuals who are so involved in this community and have made quite a name for themselves and have represented their community so well. First, the Honorable Kathleen McCarthy, co-chair of the Justice Awards Tribute. It's fine, go ahead. She's also presiding judge of Wayne County Circuit Court, the Family Division.
Thank you and welcome. Welcome to the Arab American Civil Rights League and the Detroit chapter of the NAACP and the Freedom Institute's first annual Justice Award Tribute Dinner. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle. The tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals." This is what we're celebrating tonight in this first annual Justice Award dinner. Those judges, prosecutors, attorneys, legislators, congressmen, and community leaders who get up every morning, take a deep breath, strap on their big girl or big boy panties, and go out there amidst criticism, negative publicity, complaints, and protests to do the right thing. That takes bravery, compassion, and fearlessness when it's sometimes so easy to do the wrong thing, the simple thing, or nothing, to avoid criticism and negative publicity. But that isn't what we're charged to do as prosecutors, judges, attorneys, legislators, and community leaders. Tonight, we celebrate all of you for your courage and conviction in upholding justice. To that end, I'd like to announce those judges who are here with us tonight. This dinner, along with the community leaders, Barbara McQuaid, Victoria Roberts, this dinner is to celebrate you and the hard work that you do every day in doing the right thing. And if I haven't remembered all of you, I'm sorry. I just have the check-in list, and to the extent that it's not good, I apologize. So in no particular order, I'd like to welcome and introduce Judge Penny Millender from the 36th District Court. Judge Tom Cameron from the Wayne County Circuit Court. Our Chief Judge, Judge Robert Colombo from the Wayne County Circuit Court. I'm not sucking up, he does a great job. I might be sucking up, but. Judge David Gran, magistrate from the Federal Court. Judge David Turfey from the Dearborn Heights District Court. Judge Duggan, Federal District Court. Judge Eric Cholak, one of my colleagues on the Family Division of the Wayne County Circuit Court. Judge Heisey from Wayne County Circuit Court, sorry. Judge Lilliard from the Wayne County Criminal Division of the Circuit Court. Judge Linda Parker, my colleague and co-presenter this evening from the Federal District Court. Judge Mark Summers from the Dearborn District Court. Judge Martha Snow, my colleague on the Family Division of Wayne County Circuit Court. Judge Patricia Frazard from the Wayne County Civil Division, Wayne County Circuit Court. And of course, our honoree, Judge Victoria Roberts from the Federal Court, District Court. Judge Paul Borman. Thank you, I'm sorry, from the District Court, Federal District Court. Thank you. I'm sorry? Of course, Merrill Hughes, I'm sorry, my former colleague in the Family Division, now in the Civil Division of Wayne County Circuit Court. Eric Cholak from the Family Division of the Wayne County Circuit Court. Oh my gosh. You guys are killing me. Our Supreme Court Justice, Mr. Bernstein from the Supreme Court. Viviano from our Supreme Court Justice, Viviano, thank you. Lori Michelson from the U.S. District Court. Macomb County Circuit Court Judge Viviano. We promise a proper list next year, we promise. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. Great job, and I'm so glad it was your job and not my job. That's kind of like my business in TV. You know, you work all day and you plan out your show, and the second you walk in the studio, everything changes, you know, and you just roll with the flows. But what a great job, and it's so nice to have so many dignitaries and so many people of the court here, and especially nice to know if I walk out of here and get in trouble tonight, I got a whole lot of people I can call. Don't worry, I'm not going to get in trouble. Next, to bring us special remarks is the Honorable Linda V. Parker. She is co-chair of the Justice Awards Tribute, judge on the U.S. District Court, Eastern District of Michigan.
Good evening, everyone. It's really a pleasure to see everyone here today, and I know so many of you, and I'm gonna just follow up very quickly with what my colleague and my co-chair has said, that everybody in this room has a role, and we all do have to stay in our lanes. We acknowledge the lines that we have, but at the end of the day, we are all in the pursuit of justice. And so it's just a pleasure for us all to be in the room. I've been at a table and wearing different hats that I've worn, and with so many people here, whether it was a prosecutor in front of me or Nabi and I together at the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, or a community activist demanding with former U.S. Attorney Saul Green that things be addressed in that particular community. So we all, at the end of the day, are family, and this is, as Kathleen said, a celebration of all of us. So enjoy yourselves this evening, and here we go for justice.
And you know, I can't introduce
Linda without mentioning her sister Amy, who for me had 2 daughters. She got them through all those dental cleanings and appointments until they got out of college and graduate school. So I certainly contributed to the Parker family. She's a great dentist and a great sister team here. Let me just mention, I'm not sure if he's still here, but I know I did see him. A lot of dignitaries in the room, but we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge, even if he's not still here, Congressman John Conyers, the Dean of the United States Congress, was here. Out of all the members of the United States Congress, it's a Detroit congressman that is the ranking member of the United States Congress, and that's something we should never forget. Dinner is now served, and I'm looking out at my friend Osama Sablani, who had a wonderful, wonderful 30th anniversary tribute just a week or so ago for the 30th anniversary of the Arab American News, and we've been out to lunch many times, and Osama knows it's never hard to get me to come out to a dinner or a lunch when they're serving Arab American food. So enjoy.
Good evening. What a beautiful evening, especially for a politician to be in the same room with too many judges. So I like everybody to look at me in case I appear before you. It's a great honor for me to be here today. I met Mr. Stokes 5 months ago at the Cobo Hall, and I gave him my personal card as a mayor. 5 months later, I met him here in the lobby. I give him my personal card as a commissioner. So I don't know 5 months from now which one would be. But we have with us 2 great commissioners, Irma Clark Coleman, will you please join me here? And Martha Scott, Commissioner Scott. Mrs. Scott, she's a true politician, always talking. And as a new commissioner, I thought I would be on the bottom of the list where they put my office. And I was surprised when they put me between Mrs. Scott and Mrs. Coleman. And I asked how I earned this honor. They said to keep you out of trouble. So I would like to have the both honoree here at the stage. It is a great honor for us to present you with those 2 resolutions on behalf of Wayne County Commission, and congratulate you on being the honoree tonight. You're very welcome.
Bless you. You deserve it. I think they want to get photos down there. They want to come down there. Okay.
And now as we begin the awards part of our program, right before we do, let me take a moment to just introduce to those of you who may not know, and that's probably only 1 or 2 people in the room, but please give a warm round of applause to the president of the Detroit chapter of the NAACP, the Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony. Donnell was up here earlier and said you got a little chicken dinner on Sunday. At this time, I'd like to bring to the podium Attorney Nabi Ayad, founder and the chairman of the Arab American Civil Rights League, a great lawyer, a great fighter, a great advocate in this community, and a very good friend.
Thank you so much, Chuck. You're doing a great job, by the way. I know with all the things that you got going on, we appreciate you. I have a lot of thank yous to do. I don't know if my previous speakers have mentioned it or not, but we have to give a shout out to our Greektown Casino, Mr. Marvin Beatty. I know he was here earlier. They basically sponsored this event, so we appreciate them so dearly. As you know, civil rights and nonprofits, money is important, so we do truly appreciate them. And we've made sure that this event is by invite only, free of charge, and 1 or 2 sponsors for this event. So we truly appreciate Marvin Beatty and Greektown Casino. I know he had to leave. I think it's Friday nights. As you know, Reverend, he does his dance, step dancing thing down in the basements or what have you, but it is what it is. To our team, our co-chairs, presiding Judge McCarthy, Federal Judge Linda Parker, Dr. Reverend Anthony, Monica Anthony, Donnell White, Samia Hamid, and our dear friend Chuck Stokes. I thank you all. They all worked so very hard to make this happen. In addition to putting down, yes, you could applause to that, please. In addition to getting together the world's largest sit-down dinner, they also had to do this event, other events. They had 300 people here early this morning and throughout this weekend, so it's a huge challenge, and we appreciate each and every one of you for your hard work and dedication. I also want to thank the team here at UAW Ford for providing us this hall. Jimmy Settles, Angela, Mona, and your team has been fantastic. Thank you, and I appreciate all of you. I'm sorry if I've given you a headache in dealing with me. I apologize. That's just one of the norms. Also, I want to thank Joe Bazzi of Biblos for providing the reception portion of the delicacies that we had over in the reception area. Again, thank you, Joe. It's always been a wonderful support of the community. Lastly, as you know, this event is a joint effort voted on by both entities of the Board of Directors for the NAACP and the Detroit and the ACRL Board. At this moment, I would just like for all the ACRL Board to stand, please, and be recognized. You know who you are. Please stand. All the ACRL Board. A few of them are missing. As well, at this time, I would also like to recognize the NAACP Board that are in the house here as well. If you could please also stand and be recognized as well, please. And I also would like to congratulate our dear awardees, Victoria Roberts and Barb McQuaid. You have a short bio. I won't prolong this situation. I know you have a short bio about Barb McQuaid. It's in your program. And can we get everybody's attention, please? Everyone's attention. Thank you. I can tell you, I won't progress the issue about what's in the program already about Barbara McQuaid, but I can tell you how she is as the first woman. I can tell you about the first woman U.S. attorney in the history of this district. I can tell you about how she put and been a steadfast supporter of the Civil Rights Division in this U.S. district, in the U.S. Attorney's Office. I can tell you many firsts that she's had, and many as a leader in this region. And I will not restate everything that's in your program, but I want to give you a little insight as to why us in the civil rights community, the two largest ethnic groups in the region, are recognizing this special woman tonight. To those of us who have known Barb before she was our U.S. attorney, you would have known outside of the immense power that she has now, she as a person has not changed. That I can tell you, it truly says a lot about a person's character in and of itself. We have always known Barb to be a genuine, responsive, and caring individual, while at the same time as tough as they come on certain matters. We are not saying that we agree with everything that our U.S. Attorney Barb McQuaid does, but you must agree that she is definitely deserving of this special recognition. As I told the Detroit Free Press when they called me the other day, as to the awardee Barb McQuaid, as a civil rights organization, as two civil rights organizations awarding this individual. I told the reporter that we are awarding this lady for the so many reasons that this community feels that she has stood behind. If you remember, it was Barb McQuaid that stood behind this community against her own governmental agency, basically the Justice Department, when a report was leaked saying that literally half of Arab Americans in the city of Dearborn are associated or have ties to terrorism. This was a very dangerous situation because now the naysayers and those individuals that want to portray this community in a negative light actually had a document to say this document proves that Arab Dearborns are basically terrorists. She stood in the press conference with us, alongside with us, and said, these individuals are good people. This report, denouncing this report, and this was very important. It was very important to the community, and we appreciate it. I also told the reporter when Bridges, a very important entity that was all the law enforcement agencies, state, federal agencies that met with the Arab community on an almost quarterly basis, was about to be stripped apart. It was Barb McQuaid that held it together. She reached out and made sure that everyone still attends this very important function to keep the dialogue between Arabs and the law enforcement community. It was Barb McQuaid that reached out, and when over 24 individuals by a local supposedly called informant tried to denounce our community and name 24 families that are associated to terrorism, it was Barb McQuaid that facilitated and allowed these individuals to sleep at night and clear their name with the FBI and what have you. These are just little of what she has done in the community. And I can tell you, a U.S. attorney and all the things that we got going on, when she calls and says, the first question, even of all the important matters we have, she'll ask me, Nabi, how's your daughter doing with her medical situation? How's she doing? This is a unique individual. It's a special individual. Anything in her history has showed that she is a unique and special individual. And I can tell you, she would not be being awarded here by the Dr. Reverend Wendell Anthony. If you know anything about his history and standing up for civil rights for decades, as one of the renowned civil rights leader in our community, in our generation in this country. She would not be awarded by myself. She would not be awarded by Linda Parker, the former director of the Michigan Department of Civil Rights, Kathleen McCarter, former chairman of the advisory board for many years for civil rights organization of the ADC. She would not be awarded by two ethnic groups that think so highly of her. And she would not be awarded had there not been all these community leaders here tonight. So I can tell you, Barb, you are a true friend. You stood up to the challenges. We may not always agree on things, and we understand that. But it's always nice, as Donna West said earlier, that we can pick up the phone, we can call you, and you have been responsive. You have been responsive on many different fronts. From every angle that there was, you have been responsive. And you've never showed any difference than just your human spirit and kindness towards your fellow constituents. And at the end of the day, Barb, I can tell you that you showed the really meaning of being a U.S. attorney. You showed that you are not just a U.S. attorney, but you are our U.S. attorney. You represent our constituents, and at the end of the day, you understand you are the right person and you care about this community. And not only do you prosecute, but you also defend this community. And that's what the honorable and model U.S. attorney needs to do across this country. We appreciate you so much. So please stand up and be recognized for this event. Could I have Reverend Anthony, our co-chairs, as well as Samia? I know Donnell's still here. Also, please be present for this award.
Well, thank you so much, Nabi. That was very, very kind. Let me apologize. I'm fighting a frog in my throat all week, and so far the frog is winning. But I want to take just a moment to say how very, very honored I am to be recognized by these ACRL and the NAACP, two organizations that I have such great respect for, because these organizations stand for something that I care so deeply about: equality, equal justice. Our Supreme Court has etched over its entrance the words "equal justice under law." That is the promise of America. But like many of you, I'm sure I learned very early in life that the promise of America does not always equal the reality of America. Growing up as a girl in the 1960s, I was told that certain opportunities were not available to me. They told me I could not play baseball. I love baseball. They told me certain careers were closed to me, like being a lawyer. And I refuse to believe that that could be true in my America, America where there is equal justice under law. And so I fought to do the things I wanted to do. I fought to play baseball, and I fought to become a lawyer. And I vowed to fight for equal justice under law for all people, regardless of gender, national origin, race, religion, sexual orientation. We are all Americans, and I will fight as your U.S. Attorney to ensure equal justice under law for all of you. Thank you so much for this great honor.
Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations, Attorney McQuaid, and I too want to say a word of appreciation and thanks and acknowledgement for all of the folk who made this happen. I really want to thank also Jimmy Settles and the Ford UAW people for allowing us to be here tonight and for facilitating much of what you see. And I also want to thank the members of the Freedom Institute, as well as the NAACP and the ACRL. It is so important that we pause to honor folk who by their work honor us. An award to me always presupposes two things. You get an award for work that you have done, and you get an award for work that you have yet to do. So you have a balance there. And in order to get the award, you really have to be able to do both of them. And so we acknowledge the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District and also a judge on one of the high courts in the land, the federal court, and also someone who's been involved with the Eastern and is involved with the Eastern District. And that is a friend and a woman who has certainly made her mark over the years. The first African-American lawyer, female, Charlotte Ray, who graduated from Howard University and became the first woman to practice before the U.S. Supreme Court back in the late 1800s. And this woman could not practice later on and run a business because of the discrimination that females encountered. But she opened up doors and she made pathways for folk like Victoria Roberts and many others. And through her struggles, you now find the benefit of the work that she and so many others have done. Victoria Roberts, who is well educated, Charles Hamilton Houston said that a lawyer is a social engineer, that if he or she is not engaged in the work of their society, then they are a parasite on society. He was very clear about that, one who helped to lead the way towards the realization of Brown versus the Board of Education, he and Thurgood Marshall. And so Judge Roberts has a great tradition by which she now comes. She was appointed in 1997 by former President Bill Clinton, who nominated her to the Eastern District of Michigan. And the U.S. Senate confirmed her to the bench the following year. At that time, the Senate was being a little more responsive and confirming people. Amen. And so it didn't take as long as it took Loretta Lynch, and so we thank God for that. During Victoria's time period, she has served in many capacities. She was voted as the Woman of the Year for the Michigan Lawyers Weekly in 2013. And Victoria has been a woman who has used her skill as a lawyer and as a judge to listen to the resumes of women. I'm quoting what she says. Listening to the resumes of the women, a theme for so many is opening doors and access to justice and breaking down barriers. And we know that those things are very high priorities in the legal profession. She told the women in the law attendees when she was getting that recognition. During her presidency, she created the bar's pioneering task force on race, ethnic, and gender issues in the courts and legal profession. She started her career as a research attorney for the Michigan Court of Appeals. She taught at the Detroit College of Law before entering private practice, later on becoming Assistant U.S. Attorney excuse me, for the Eastern District and General Counsel for the then Detroit Mayor-elect Dennis Archer. She has also been privileged to work as a faculty member for Lawyers Without Borders in Kenya. She is also, in addition to that, been training legal staff in Serbia for the U.S. Department of Justice, all while she was still a person who lived in the city of Detroit. As a matter of fact, where I live now, I can thank Victoria Roberts. I don't know if she remembers that, but I remember when I was looking for a place to live, she recommended Rosedale Parks, and I'm still living there. I don't know where you living now, but I'm still living in Rosedale Park. But it's a beautiful neighborhood, and I enjoyed the times when I was invited in her home and to visit with her. I found her to be a very sensitive person. Just recently, she was a part of bringing preachers together so that we could inform the community about what's going on with Detroit's bankruptcy, because she and others wanted us to understand some of the fine-tuned details concerning that. We didn't agree with all of that, but of course, we were in the judge's chambers, and so we had to deal with what they were saying. But at any rate, I stand proudly to present this award to Justice Victoria Roberts. I've been calling her Vicky for so long, but tonight I'm formal. Justice Victoria Roberts, a woman who has established herself along the corridors of high jurisprudence with integrity, with foresight, with sensitivity, a person who is concerned about community, not just being a judge, because judges and lawyers are people too. And when you take that robe off, when you come behind that desk, from behind the desk, when you get ready to go home, when you encounter your children, when you deal with your neighbors, and when you read the papers, when you look at the news, when you feel the pressure and the tension and the conflict, when you look at people who stand across from you, when you encounter the folk who are going to be judged and determined by you what the course of their lives are going to be. We need people that go beyond just a profession. We need people who have the compassion and the understanding and the sensitivity and the personal touch, who are able to say that but by the grace of God go I or somebody in my own family. And so when I have the privilege to sit from my perch, to be able to pass judgment on someone, I do so with the keen knowledge that I've been given an opportunity and put in a position that a whole lot of folk will never ever have. And so therefore it is incumbent upon those who have it to make the most of it. It is our privilege and pleasure to present this 2015 Justice Award from the Arab American Civil Rights League and the Detroit Branch NAACP jointly to Judge Victoria Roberts of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Michigan, the first day of May in 2015. And it reads, the quote on the bottom, "An injustice to anyone, anywhere, is a threat to justice everywhere." Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and so says the same quote in reference to Barbara McQuaid. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as we honor Judge Victoria Roberts. I told her that I was going to roast her, but I decided to toast her instead. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I was holding my breath through all of that because I wasn't sure what Wendell would say. But for decades, the NAACP has stood for equality and justice without regard to race or gender or ethnicity or creed or social or economic status. And it is just heartening to see it joining tonight with ACRL, and because it is an example of the expansiveness of both organizations and how both organizations really understand that we're in this together, and that both of the African American community, the Arab American community have so much more in common than what divides us. And so I am just so happy that I get this award on behalf of both organizations. But despite the message of the NAACP over the decades that we need equality and we need justice, and that message has been a loud and clear one, we find ourselves on May 1 of 2015 still battling and struggling for all of the civil rights that should have been established and settled years and years and years ago. So that these two organizations are still standing tall, and that everyone in it still understands that we are on a mission. I'm just privileged to be here today. I have been licensed to practice law in the state of Michigan for almost 40 years now, the last 18 as a judge. And as Wendell said, I have had the opportunity, I have been blessed to participate in many spheres of the civil rights movement, and it is because of the conscience and the voice of these kinds of organizations that give me some guidance and help me to establish and live and be a judge by certain principles. And so I'm just very pleased and privileged. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you, Don. Some of you asked, was it going to be a long program? It's not, short to the point. For the Arab community and the African American community, both communities that have a long history of being long-winded, we certainly appreciate. See, that's true. Arabs can talk too. Come on now, y'all know that. So we appreciate that. We certainly look forward to the balance of this week. We certainly invite all of you to join with us on Sunday as we welcome the Vice President of the United States at the 60th anniversary of the Fight for Freedom Fund dinner at Cobo Center. Tomorrow, this room will be transferred, Attorney McWade and Justice Roberts, into a venue for young people as we have stops and cops. We know we have issues between law enforcement and our youth. But one of the things that we're doing is bringing them together in exercises in terms of how we can bridge the gap relative to some degree of understanding, so we don't have the kind of situations that we have had in the past. We will be dealing with that tomorrow with students from around this community. It is free, open to the public. We invite your students to come as well. 10 o'clock is the time period. Members of the Detroit Police Department will be here. There will be real-life illustrations as to what we should or should not be doing to make sure we have respect from a two-way street. Then we'll be dealing with mentoring and mentorships, and we'll also be dealing with choices, making good choices and bad choices. And then later on, we will have a panel on education. What is the future of education in our city? You can't miss it because you've been reading about it, it's on the paper. The education is going to change, but we certainly need to be a part of that which is changing. So we invite you to be a part of that. We thank you for being here tonight. We look forward to a continuous bridge between people so that we can grow like this and not like this. Let the people say amen. God bless you. Thank you for being here. Is that all right?